one winter, you can create a tropical garden.
Take a look at this. It's absolutely stunning.
Adam's about to make your feet feel $1,000,000. If you're all fingers and thumbs in the bedroom, Tara's tips and tricks will make you handy enough to make some magic.
Take a look at this. It's absolutely stunning, super exotic, and even a little bit prehistoric. That's the beauty of the bromeliad. And here at Sydney Royal Botanic Gardens, they've got a really diverse collection of broms. So I'm going on a little plant hunt with Dave, the garden's horticultural manager. So the bromeliad bed looks amazing, doesn't it? I mean,
yeah,
purple, it's sensational.
Yeah, look, as usual, it's a riot of colour. And the Alcantarilla, we've got the Camellias with all their bright colours. You know, they're such a tropical-looking plant as well, and, you know, people love that tropical look.
But they're versatile, aren't they?
They are. They're hugely versatile, like the colours within the Neoregilias. Got lots of variegation.
Have a look at the leaves on this.
They do, yeah, and this is really closely related to the pineapple.
Yes.
This one, and again, pest and disease-free. Like your average possum's not going to attack that.
Not going to enjoy that, is it? So the majority of bromeliads will grow all over Australia?
Yeah, look, you could find a bromeliad to grow pretty much everywhere, but the bromeliads that are available and we grow tend to be the more sort of subtropical and tropical ones. And if you do live in a really frosty area, they make fantastic indoor plants as well.
They've got a pretty exotic flower as well, don't they?
Yeah, it's another one of the beauties of bromeliads. You know, you've got the foliage even when they're not in flower, and then you get the bonus of this amazing flower, which are long-lived, like on these Camellias, for example. And, you know, this flower will last for months.
Is there a rule of thumb to planting them in or out shade?
There definitely is. The rule of thumb is that the thicker and more leathery the leaf is, the more sun it can take, and then you'll get these beautiful, vivid colours in the foliage.
Amazing, aren't they? Don't they make a fantastic border plant as well?
They do, yes. Well, another one of their great uses, and these little Camellias, these matchsticks are one of the best.
With bromeliads, they get the water in the cup.
Yeah.
Is it a common misconception that you just need to keep that as full as possible for good health?
Yeah, look, generally you want to keep water in the cup, but what you don't want to do is have them sitting in moist soil, because they hate having wet roots. And particularly in winter, they really hate, you know, wet, cold roots. That'll make them rot and die off. So if you have them in a well-draining soil and keep the cups, you know, reasonably full, but you don't have to water them every day, you know.
Okay, so an orchid mix would be good?
Orchid mix would be perfect.
Or if you don't have that, maybe a cacti and succulent mix could work as well.
Either.
Yeah, perfect.
So Charlie, over here in the shade, we've got some beautiful varieties, and like they've got stunning foliage.
The colour is absolutely sensational, isn't it?
Yeah, they're one of my favourites.
And look, they're just having some babies as well.
They are. They're very productive little plants, and they're
so easy to propagate, aren't they? You just take that off and pop it in the soil, and unlike cuttings, pretty much every single one's going to take, isn't it?
Yeah, look, they're really good. When the pup gets to about half the size of the mother plant, it's perfect.
Perfect time to take it off. And this is a variegated matchsticks, is that right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's a very common matchsticks, a variegated form of it, and a really popular plant, and for good reason.
And what have you done here? These ones are climbing up the tree. They're almost sort of taking over.
So these are one of the Neoregilias, so compacta, and it's a really stoloniferous form, so it throws out these roots
like this, aren't they?
Yeah, it does, and you can train it pretty much up a tree. You can almost treat it like a climbing plant, and a really useful plant.
And it doesn't harm the tree?
No harm to the tree at all.
Yeah, that gives me a bit of an idea. That's nice. So Dave, who's this bloke?
Oh, this is Bill. Bill's probably the most popular bloke at the Botanic Gardens.
Yeah, he's great, isn't he? And is he made of tillandsia?
Yeah, he is, yes. He's made of tillandsia, one of the air plants, and it just shows the diversity of bromeliads.
Yeah, so you can get these enormous ones and then just these tiny, minute ones as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you got many more of these around the gardens?
We've got loads more to show you.
Let's have a look. what you mean, Dave. It is really quite a spectacular display, isn't it? And no soil in sight.
No, these are just hanging in fresh air, basically, and they've got these little scales on their leaves which trap water in the air, you know, humidity, and that's enough to keep them going. And also, you know, they get all the nutrients they need. Amazing plants.
That is. So how do you know if they need a drink, if they need a mist?
Oh, look, the horticulturists would occasionally give them a bit of a mist, but
on the hottest of summer days,
yeah,
that sort of thing?
They really don't complain. And in summer in Sydney, there's usually enough humidity around in the air anyway, just to keep them happy.
They really are the ultimate low-maintenance plant, aren't they?
They certainly are, yes.
Yeah, and they come with this sort of fantastic, lovely flower here.
Yeah, now the flowers can be quite spectacular and quite varied as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an absolutely incredible day. Thank you for showing me around.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you.
No doubt about it, the bromeliad is one serious showstopper of a plant. So dramatic and vibrant, and as we saw earlier at the Royal Botanic Gardens in Sydney, they come in all kinds of amazing shapes and sizes. So what if you want to create a little slice of the tropics in your own back garden? Well, I want to add some vibrancy and colour, but also some height to this space, and this tree is perfect. We've got a lovely clear trunk and plenty of branches to attach some plants to, but this has also got space at the bottom, so we can get some plants in the ground as well. Remember back in the Botanic Gardens how good the bromeliads looked mounted in the tree? Well, I'm going to recreate that here. And I've got an array of greens, purples, and of course, the one my parents used to grow in the UK. Really simple, we're just going to start tying it onto the branches. Now, I'm just using some cotton ties to tie these on with, but you could use some stockings as well, which of course I have plenty laying around. I'm just tying these on, remembering these are epiphytic, so they're going to attach themselves to the tree, and this is just a part-time hold until it disintegrates, and that will make it look much more natural. Now, don't forget, when you're tying these onto the tree, you need to make sure the cups are facing upwards. That way they can get some rain in them and it doesn't just fall out. This larger bromeliad is actually an acmea, and I'm using some sphagnum moss to pack the fork in this branch. And that's just going to hold on to a little bit of moisture, which is going to set this up perfectly. So the roots can take to that, and it's not going to have any stress at all. And then using one of my old stockings, of course, because it's a little bit larger, and I'll just tie it in. And the thing I love about this is it really draws your eye to this fantastic pink flower, perfectly at eye height. Bromeliads are perfect for planting under trees because they get dappled light. Now here, I've got an amazing mix of colours, and I'm bringing in textures through the different markings on the leaves. These are going to explode out the top of this green syngonium and look fantastic. Planting them under a tree is also good for the type of soil they like. It's generally quite thin and free draining. If you've got a heavy clay soil, then you might want to improve it with some potting mix. Just use an orchid mix or even a succulent mix. If you don't have a garden bed, you can still get some bromeliads into your life through pots. I'm using this large, low bowl, which is just going to give us a bit more height in the garden bed and just increase the texture. I'm using, as prescribed, an orchid potting mix, nice and free draining. I'm using green bromeliads, but I'm going high drama with the flowers in reds and yellows. Really gives this dark corner a perfect lift. So to finish this fantastic tree off, I'm using some old man's beard. Now I'm using this, I'm going to hide all the stockings and ties, and it just adds a lovely light touch to the tree. Fantastic.
I'll take you places you ain't even dreamed of. I feel sorry for whoever's got to clean up.
And of course, being an air plant or a Tillandsia, it's pretty much maintenance-free. Don't be scared to combine different plants with your bromeliads. I've added some cordylines, some crotons, and these amazing little orchids for added interest. You know, we're so lucky in Australia that we've got this great climate that we can grow a huge variety of plants in. In a short period of time, we've transformed this dull space into a tropical oasis, and I've got to say, it looks absolutely spectacular.
Definitely feeling refreshed after that shower. Now, what I had in mind is a timber bath mat. And the best thing is, it is super easy to make. It's made from Tasmanian oak, and it is gonna last for years and look fantastic. The first thing I need to do is rough cut everything to size. That's all my pieces rough cut, so basically they're oversized. Now, I want to cut them to the spot-on measurement. And I want all these pieces to be the same size, so the trick is to tape them together, and I'll do one cut, take my final measurement, which is 700 mil, and then do the cut. And I'll do exactly the same to the battens. And just in case we forgot anything, my able assistant Arabella is keeping us all in check. The joys of working from home. With all the pieces cut, next up, I want to get rid of all these sharp edges because you definitely don't want to get a splinter when you're jumping out of the shower. Thanks, bub. To do that, I'll be using my router with a round over bit in it. If you don't have a router, you can use sandpaper and just rub over the edges. All my sharp edges gone. Now I'm going to measure in 8 mil from each side of my two battens and draw 2 lines. Then, with these 10 mil spaces I made, you can use whatever spaces you have hanging around, I'm going to space out each slat. With everything laid out, the next step is just to mark the centre of each slat. Then I'll take these 2 battens and I'll sit them off our timber, and I'm going to pre-drill and countersink with a smart bit. And the reason you want to do that off your timber is because you don't want the hole going all the way through. The only tip here is to make sure that when you're doing it, we're zigzagging as we do our holes. That way, when we put our frame together, that's going to help it hold square, and also over time will prevent this timber from splitting. With our battens pre-drilled and countersunk, we can now sit them back on our mat. And I've got a roofing square here, which I'm going to use to square up the mat first, so I'll make sure that it's touching along this face, and then along this face, all our pieces. Then I'll get my set square and the other batten and use that to square up our batten, and then just pre-drill into our slats and fix them up with some stainless steel screws. And a good tip is just to make sure that you pre-drill and screw off all the corners first. That way it's holding your frame all nice and square, and then you can pre-drill the rest of the holes and screw it off at the same time. With our timber bath mat screwed together, I'll now knock out the spaces. Then I'm just going to go over these edges with some 120 grit sandpaper to clean them up. And I'm just going to go over the whole lot with some outdoor furniture oil, and the good thing about using that is it's non-slip when wet. And with the oil dry, we can now spin our mat around. And to stop us from going for a 6 when we jump out the shower, I'm just going to be putting down these little rubber feet. I'll just pre-drill and screw them in place with stainless steel screws. That way, nothing will ever rust out. And look at that, a beautiful solid timber bath mat that will bring style to any bathroom.
It's an empty space that stands beside me now. Am I looking for someone that I just can't?
The bedroom, it is often the lowest of the low on priorities of decorating, but you know, it really shouldn't be that way. It needs to be inviting, it needs to be warm and relaxing. So if yours isn't quite like that, well, let's make it that way. This bedroom, well, it's a pretty typical example of a space crying out for a makeover. But you know, the basics are all here, so that's why the owners have never really done anything about it. What's good about this space is it's big. We've got plenty of room to work. And look at the ceilings. They are just so beautiful. There's so much detail in there, but you really can't see it because the space is so bland. The window seat is an asset in this room. And really, your eye doesn't get drawn over there because there's nothing to draw you in. So what I want to do is I want to change all of that. I want to make this warm and cozy and give it style. I reckon if we strip it out, we can get to work and make it look stunning.
I left my heart in the middle of the road, and guess what? Somebody
Mind the chandelier, boys. I'm honestly helping.
State of affairs had me stressed, and you were the best I found.
This is actually the exciting part of the process because you can think about the layout of the room. Is it actually working for you? And by moving things around, will it make a big difference? Well, I think in here it will. The wardrobe, as good as it is, it's actually in the wrong spot. And I'll show you because as you come in the door, you can see what happens. It's actually a block and it closes in the space. So by moving it over to this wall, we can have a bigger wardrobe and it gets hidden away behind the door. Paint choice is so hard for so many people, but what I say is when you're thinking about the space, just try and imagine how you want to feel when you're in that space. Now, I suggest in bedrooms you go for a classic neutral colour. Generally, neutrals are a whole spectrum of colours from white all the way up to almost black, so you really do have a wide field to choose from. Bedrooms these days are getting darker, and the good thing is beds take up so much real estate, you can brighten it with the bedding and all of the cushions, and with the walls, if they're dark and moody, they just kind of sink away and just wrap around you. So in here, we're starting with a beautiful grey carpet that's going to be warm and soft underfoot, and for the walls, this lovely colour called grid. It's very deep and it's very dark, and you probably think, oh my gosh, it's going to be so dark. But trust me, they'll just kind of sink away really in a nice restful kind of way. So while we're talking about colour, I want to talk about the wardrobe doors because there's this great new product that allows you to actually tie them in with the walls so they almost disappear. So let's go and take a look at that. Most wardrobe systems you can buy these days have fairly limited options as far as the door colour is concerned. You kind of get what you get. But if you're up for it, you can build your own cupboards and actually create a custom look. So we're starting with kitchen pantries, which sounds a bit strange, but believe me, they work really well as wardrobes. And for the doors, you can buy off-the-shelf colours, or if you want that custom look, you can paint your own. These are raw MDF. I like the shadow panel, it's going to add a nice profile to the room. Now to completely make them disappear, we're painting them exactly the same colour as the walls, only the paint is slightly different. So we've started with an undercoat, they're sealed well, and with the top coat we're using an aqua enamel. It has a slightly higher sheen level, so you're not going to see all the fingerprints on it and it's going to give them more durability.
So fly like the northern lights, won't stop till the sunrise. You and I losing track of time, you and I gonna own the night.
The homeowners here, they never had a bed headboard before, so I'm going to make them a very simple one. But the hardest thing with that is what pattern or what fabric do you choose? So for a luxe hotel look, which is kind of what we're going for here, I've decided to choose velvet. Now the importance of getting a cutting and seeing what it looks like in situ, I think is really important. These are both velvets, they're both grey, but can you see the colour difference? This one, you probably can't see it at home, it actually has a slight green undertone, and I know immediately that that's just not going to work as well as this one. So this is my choice. It's a beautiful velvet, not expensive, fairly easy to work with, so let's go and get it on the bed head. To make your own upholstered bed head, you need to measure the width of your mattress. We've got a queen size bed, so this board here is our backing board and it's the full width and just a little bit higher. The height is really up to you. It's purely a style choice. We've gone quite high because again, we want to take the eyes right up to that beautiful ceiling. So it's a strong backing board of MDF. And then we've got some foam. You can have this cut to size. It's quite thick, so if you just put the fabric over the top, it's not bad, but these corners will actually give the game away that it's not a professional finish. The tip is to get some wadding and put that on top as well, and you can see that rounds those corners, and that makes it nice and smooth. It's a long way. The edges are nice and neat. I think that gives a nice plush look. But if you do want to go one step further and you're handy with tools, you might like to make a frame. This is just 2 pieces of pine which we've stained up. You can see, you can actually wrap it around and it gives it a very neat professional finish. It's kind of like that hotel luxe look. So I'm going to fix that on and see how we go. If you're lucky enough to be planning a brand new wardrobe, how exciting, because you have so many choices. You can make it exactly what you need it to be. Now, the whole reason that we went for kitchen pantries is basically because they're customizable, and they also have all of these great little inserts, things that will make your life a whole lot easier. Now, most people have a laundry hamper in the bedroom, somewhere where you stash all of your dirty clothes. Well, if you think about it carefully, look at this. You can actually make yourself a push hideaway laundry system. Now these little baskets down here, great for your fruit and veggies if it were a kitchen, but even better for your boots and your sneakers. Because they've got that wire there, completely ventilated, so it's a really good idea for your shoes. With your hangers, it's a small detail, but if you go for flat hangers as opposed to these bulky ones, you'll actually get more clothes in there as well, so it's a space-saving solution. And any space left over, look at that, the perfect place for your bed sheets. You're always looking for those in the laundry cupboard or in the closet late at night, so having them right where you need them just really makes a lot of sense. So the next thing to do is hide this lot all away with those doors that we painted before, and by painting them the same colour as the walls, well, this cupboard will be pretty much invisible.
I keep all my people dear close to me. Penny and the penny, your best family.
Doesn't the bed head look great now it's in position? It really does give the bed some balance and scale. Now, moving the bed from that wall over to here has certainly made a huge difference to the room, but it also means that the bed is the first thing you see as you walk through the door. So you want it to be well made every day, but not become a chore. And in terms of colour, well, I tend to go for neutrals. I don't go for heavy patterns because you can always put patterns and colour into your scatter pillows. So first up, what I do is I create the whole canvas, if you like. Then what I do, I peel it back to about 1/3 of the way down the bed. Now that gives you enough room here to set up your pillows. Euro pillows are great to lean against. They're the big ones. They're about 600 square. Here you go, Josh, one for your side, one for mine. So again, I've gone for white because you can see against the bed head, this just punctuates the space, so it really draws you in. Next comes your bed pillows. You can choose to keep your bed pillows all the same colour, or this is where you can add just a little splash of colour. So we've got your sleeping pillow, if you like. So Josh, on your side, one of those. There you go. That is a well-made bed. Now, if you want to add a bit of colour, you can do it in a couple of ways. You can add it with scatter pillows, very controversial, I know, but you can also do it with a throw at the bottom of the bed. So we've chosen to go for velvet here, again, to pick up on the velvet in the bed head with a very similar colour. Now, let me show you about bed pillows because there is no right way of doing this, but I've got 3 different looks for you. So starting with, if you're a minimalist, this is probably all you need to do for your bed. 2 oblong pillows like this are just the thing. They're a half tone of the grey. They sit quietly on the bed. They're there, just enough statement. But if you like something with a little bit more contrast, you might like to try a slightly bigger pillow. This darker grey complements the bedding so beautifully, and again, you could just leave it at that. But if you do want to add some colour, the world's your oyster because grey is a fantastic backdrop colour. Ochre is just the thing to up the ante here. The power of colour. One small cushion adds such a dynamic touch to this bed. But if this look is just a little bit too formal for you and you want to go for something slightly more relaxed and romantic, powder pink velvet works so well with this colour scheme. And the other thing to note here is a little bit of round can go a very long way, but also some texture, again, working with our same grey palette. And if you just want to go for something a little bit more whimsical and add a bit of colour and maybe floral charm to the bed, it's a completely different look, but as you can see, it still works. So really, there are no rules when it comes to cushion arrangement. My tip would be just to keep a little piece in the home. Don't have too many. You can see 3 is just enough.
To say with all these anchors, they cannot bury me safe.
The room's done, it's complete. Let me show you around. Let's start with the windows. If you have a beautiful view, you want to see it, so Roman blinds are such a great idea. And all we've done is add a little decorative detail just with some grosgrain ribbon. Such a lovely statement above our new window seat. The cupboards, well, we painted them blue to blend in with the walls, and look at that, they're just stylish, they're elegant, they're quiet, and tons of storage, so good. Now, as for the old chandelier, it had to go, probably just a bit too blingy, so we've replaced it instead with a very standard drum pendant shade. But we've added one of these, it's called a diffuser. It just diffuses the light beautifully and you don't see the ugly bulbs. Now, as for the lighting on the walls, we went for sconces. Look at these, such a good idea if you don't have a lot of space to play with above your bedside tables. Now, down here for the bedsides, so the secret here is to go for a very slim tapered leg to open it up and make it feel slightly bigger than it actually is. Bit of a styling trick there. Now, over here, you probably would have expected me to have placed a mirror. You could do a mirror and make it like a dressing table situation, but I wanted the texture in here and the colour. So what we chose to do is hang this gorgeous artwork. It's an original piece. It's hand painted by a Sydney artist. I think it adds a lot of life to a room. And as for the drawers, well, a total luxe look. Can you believe that I actually made these myself? And you can too, from something completely unexpected. So if you watch next week's show, I'm going to teach you how to do this. All in all, I am thrilled with this bedroom. It might not be your perfect style, but I hope you've got some ideas along the way to make your bedroom the best it can be.
Well, I'm on the mid-north coast of New South Wales, and actually, it's called Cooperabun. And I'm here to see Wendy and her daughter Blondie. And they've got a 5-year-old duck by the name of Blondie. I thought to myself, hello, here we go again. They've served me up another lame duck story.
Can't you see? Put your heart next to mine and
Well, I can see some ducks. Oh, I can see a couple of people too, that's good. So you must be Wendy?
Yeah, how you going,
Blondie?
Dr. Harry? Hi.
How did you get in? Did you fly in or was there a door?
There's a small gate under there. You'll have to duck, though, to get in the duck pen.
I'm the one with all the funny lines. What's all the netting over the top for?
Stop the eagles from getting the ducks.
The eagles from getting the ducks?
Yes.
Sounds like a football game, doesn't it? The eagles getting the ducks.
It does, actually.
You good? Can I get in? Oh, you got 2?
Yes, we've actually
got 3. A red one and a blue one?
Yep.
Fair enough.
There you go. Can you get down that way?
I don't know. We'll try.
There you go.
Oh, look at that! Oh! Wow, this is a nice duck enclosure, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You got 1, 2, 3, 4 females and a male by the look of it. So, this is your duck, isn't it?
Yep.
So I should be talking to you. Mum could just act as chaperone, that okay?
Sure.
All right, okay. So, it's the lighter coloured duck, I presume, down there that's Blondie, is that right?
Yeah, it's a really creative name.
Okay, and she's, I think you said about 5 or something like
Yeah.
that. Okay. Tell me what's going on.
A while ago, we found her wobbling around and she was really slow and her tail was down. She wasn't acting right. I went and caught her and Her foot was just, it was weird shaped. And
Right.
we tracked it and we looked it up and we thought it was bumblefoot.
Yes.
Because there was a lump on the bottom.
Yes.
We tried to soak it in warm water and salt.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Then we took her to the vet. So we just gave her tablets.
Yes. Is it any better?
No.
Come in, mate. Come in. Good to see you.
Very well.
Give us
How
your
you
elbow
been?
here. Ah. What is there about ducks, mate?
When you've had a big day, it's something that's nice to just come back to. Just sit on the bank. We're looking down over the dam, and the ducks are head bobbing and swimming and carrying on. You know, they come for a walk up the hill. They'll greet you and do their little quack and their dance that they do. And
Well, then we need to catch the duck.
That's going to be interesting.
That's what I thought. Away you go.
No. It's okay. It's okay.
Well done.
No,
Okay, you're an interesting looking duck, aren't you? All righty, so, how you going there? You're going good, you're going good. But you can see you sort of got the ball of the foot here, and you can see there's rather pronounced sort of lump developing just there. And you're right, this is generally recognised as being what we call bumblefoot. So there's one there, but you reckon the other one is much worse?
yes, absolutely.
May I? But it's not in the same spot. That is, I suspect, more of a tumour because it's in the wrong place for bumblefoot. So for her,
Yeah.
the only real option is some surgery.
Yep.
To try and get that off. Just to organise a vet in the area where we can do that. All right, what I'm going to do is give her a shot of some antibiotics to start off with. So the antibiotics are best given by injection rather than given by tablets.
Yep.
Have you ever given a duck an injection?
no.
No.
Oh,
We've done tablets.
there's a first time for everything in this life, right? All right, so this is a tiny, tiny, tiny little syringe, actually.
Yep.
It's used for people very often for insulin and what have you. See how fine that needle is?
That's great.
The duck has just shown its disdain on the ground for what is going on here, right? The duck is fed up. And when ducks get fed up, that comes out. That's how ducks work.
It's okay. Come on.
Now, I've loaded it up. So I want you to give 10 units every day. Mum, grab both wings. Grab the wings, Wendy. Yeah, grab the wings. Just the wings on their own, that'll do. Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. So move your fingers up a little bit. You know, if you go for somewhere around what we call the pectoral muscle, but even if it just goes under the skin, it's going to be absorbed. You know, just slip it in. Finger.
Oh, she did move.
Okay, this stuff's capable of penetrating through your skin.
Yep.
Okay? Now, when you put this on, I'd like you to try and keep her out of water for about half an hour to an hour. Difficult.
Laundry.
Oh, God.
Okay? Now, we're not going to put it on that one because we're going to operate on that one.
Yep.
I'm not going to put it on the other one.
Come on.
Okay, so all you do is roll it around. Can you smell anything? Smell like cabbage, cooked cabbage, rotten sardines, mixture of the two.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So try not to get it on your hands. And it's anti-inflammatory, just about everything, and it will take that lesion down. I'm confident about that.
Okay. All right.
Plus the antibiotics will help that go down as well. All right?
Yep.
Now I've got to organise some surgery. We'll talk about that.
There you go, Blondie. There you go.
And we're going to make sure that we fix Blondie.
Yes.
We sort her out, because these ducks are capable of living for a long time. If she's, say, 5 years of age, she's capable of going for at least another 5 years on top of that.
Yeah.
A mate of mine used to say to me years ago, Harry, chooks, they look sick and then they cark it.
Yeah.
Ducks, they're either alive or they're dead.
Yeah,
They never actually look sick.
Yeah.
And I reckon he was pretty right. All right,
No worries.
dabble on ducks, there's nothing
you.
like them.
Thank you.
See you
Thank
all
you very
later.
much,
See you all
Dr. Harry.
soon. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye. Don't forget to duck.
I said all the funny lines were mine.
Camellias are incredibly hardy, diverse in their uses in the garden, different shapes, different forms, and of course, incredible colours. And the Aussies have been part of the international breeding program, creating new ones from the time they arrived here just on 200 years ago. They're really tough, hardy plants. They'll grow in flower in full sun. There are even varieties that'll flower and look beautiful in the shade. They look terrific in a garden or just a couple in a pot at the front door or on a balcony. They're so versatile, camellias. Evergreen, lush, and when they come into bloom, it is just glorious. The flowers can be huge and really dramatic, capture your attention. Or there might be tiny, exquisite flowers that you have to get up close to enjoy. Some of them today even have perfume. You know, it is not a garden without camellias. Now here at Paradise Gardens, there is a great collection of some of those new varieties and some of the basic species. This is an incredible introduction called Spring Festival. There are so many of them, it's actually busting the branches out with beauty. If you're planting a camellia in full sun, then a Camellia sasanqua variety is better for you. The japonicas generally prefer more shade, except this fellow. This is Great Eastern, and it loves a really hot, sunny spot. So what the plant breeders have been doing here and elsewhere is crossing two different camellias or hybridising them with different qualities and see what they come up with. Now, this fellow here is a basic camellia species, and this one is a japonica variety. The cross result is this beautiful plant here. It's unnamed yet, and it took 10 years, but it was worth the wait. What a cracker. Camellias are pretty interesting sort of plants. They can also occasionally throw what we call a mutation or a sport, so that you've got a red-flowered camellia suddenly throws a white flower with beautiful pink stripes. How beautiful is that? Quite amazing. So you can actually get cuttings of this variegated form and grow it and end up with a whole new plant when it should be a red one. But by golly, can you end up with something spectacular? Look at that. One species we haven't touched on is Camellia reticulata. They're bigger plants, but wow, look at the flowers. They are just huge. They can be up to 20 centimetres across. This is red crystal, and the pollen just pours off there underneath, coming down. They're so sensational. It's a beautiful plant. And this is possibly the rarest camellia of them all. It's now known as Camellia nitidissima, and it has these beautiful flowers that hang down like bells. These leaves are what we call quilted, glossy green, and a beautiful texture on them. It's growing in this shade house because it's a shade-loving tree. It comes from the forest floor. They're quite rare, quite expensive, but I'll tell you what, they're a beautiful flower to grow. It's not only the flowers that vary, the overall mature shape of the trees is different as well. This one's like an umbrella shape. There's a beautiful cone or a dome squat sitting on the ground, flowers right to the top. Then there's a pillar, like a telegraph pole with flowers. And again, it's got blooms right to the very top. They're all different. The story of Australia's camellias actually surprisingly started right here in Farm Cove, Port Jackson, Sydney Harbour. In February 1831, around the point came the SS Sovereign. She dropped anchor right here, and the infantry lists a complete group of Camellia japonica varieties, many of them ending up here in Sydney's Royal Botanic Gardens. They're relatively easy to look after. What sort of soil conditions do you have here? Do you have to mulch them every year?
Mulch is good. You want to keep a consistent soil temperature and moisture. Fertilise them with an organic fertiliser, kahuna, usually twice a year. So just after flowering, before the spring growth comes through. And then they can also benefit from a light feed before flowering as well. The warmer colours do better in the full morning sun. So the japonicas, they actually can handle, once established, the full sun pretty easily.
The breeding of the modern camellia is very complex because it has literally hundreds of different parents, different species that have all come together. So when you start looking at all those different characteristics, they all bring something to the party. Now, it might be the Williamsii hybrids. Look at them. They're strong, vigorous, and they're self-cleaning. How good is that? When the flower's finished, it drops off, and then a new one comes out. Of course, they're not all as spectacular as that. There's even one that's called Camellia azalea. Look at it here. Single, beautiful, red, with a little boss of stamens in the centre. But something that only came in late 20th century was perfume. Now, this is Camellia luxuensis, which introduced that perfume. And they crossed it with Camellia japonicas and Camellia sasanquas. This is one of them that they came out here, and this has a beautiful perfume and a lovely little pink flower, and lots of them. It's a really complex world, the camellias. Even after 300 or 400 years, 200 in Australia, it's only just the beginning. There's an amazing array yet to come.